Ada Wong is not in Resident Evil Requiem. Not mentioned, not referenced, not given a single line of dialogue in a game where Leon Kennedy finally gets to go home. Capcom's director flagged her absence as deliberate. The reason isn't what anyone thinks. Now, Nakanishi flagged two specific things as intentional narrative choices in Requiem. Leon's ring, he removes it before his mission begins, puts it back on when he walks out alive, and Ada Wong's complete absence from a story that revolves around the man she has quietly protected for 28 years. Two deliberate details, one explanation, and when you connect them the right way, not the way everyone assumes, what you get isn't a love story. No, what you get is a tragedy. Ada is absent from Requiem, and the reason is the most devastating thing in the entire franchise. Now, to get there, we have to start with Leon Kennedy. He has been running since 1998. Raccoon City stripped the concept of a normal life out of him before he was old enough to know what he was losing. He was a rookie cop. He survived something the government designed for no one to survive. And after that, there was a name for what he was. An asset. Not a person. An asset with a clearance level and a kill count. 28 years of that. Spain, Tall Oaks, everything leading up to Requiem. Every time the world cracks open and something biological starts consuming civilians, Leon gets the call. Not because he volunteers, but because he is the one who keeps coming back. So the ring matters a lot here. Field operatives do not wear wedding rings on missions. That is protocol. Identifying personal markers give enemies leverage. A ring tells anyone watching that there is a person attached to you. Someone who can be found, someone who can be used. You remove it. You protect whoever is on the other side of it. Leon takes that ring off because there is someone at home he is protecting from being turned into a target. That is the occupation, the job. The removal is completely unremarkable. What's not unremarkable is what happens when he walks out alive. He puts it back on. Nakanishi said that moment was intentional, that Leon now has somewhere to go home to. And that right there, Leon Kennedy finally having a life waiting for him, tracks with everything 28 years of this franchise built toward. A man who never had an after. Now he does. The ring goes back on. Someone is waiting. Leon gets the life he deserves. And here's the interesting part. The one person responsible for making sure he walked out of that facility isn't mentioned once in the entire game. Not a line, not a reference, not even an implication that she even exists. Here's why that absence is not a writing oversight. Back to Raccoon City in '98. Leon thought Ada was an FBI agent. She was an embedded operative, running a parallel extraction on the same night in the same facility with a completely different objective. She gets shot by Annette Birkin and fell into a chasm while he watched. But here's the thing. His reaction to that was not professional. You don't grieve for someone you just met, let alone someone who just lied to you. But Leon, he grieved. RE4 Separate Ways gives you the full picture. Same castle, same timeline. At the end, when Ada has run her entire campaign, cleared every obstacle, secured what she came for, there's a moment where both of them know exactly what is there. Ada walks away from it. Not because she doesn't care, because she has decided again that caring is not enough to close the gap between them. RE6, direct confrontations, loaded dialogue, everything is sitting on the surface and neither of them reaches for it. But there's a good reason. Here's why. Leon has spent 28 years operating inside institutions he stopped trusting. He is still the government's man. That is his build. He can't be anything else. Ada has never trusted a single institution in her life and has the operational record to prove why. Their incompatibility is the furthest thing from personal. It is structural. Leon's loyalty is to people. Ada's loyalty is to outcomes. She will lie to his face to protect the mission. He knows it. She knows he knows it. That gap has been unbridgeable since '98. They both made peace with it separately, quietly.
Better get a move on.
Now that pattern holds across 28 years in multiple continents. And now you'll understand what it actually costs her. This is not just some operative running parallel missions. This is a deliberate decision she made a long time ago about what Leon Kennedy's life was worth and built every operation since around it. She moves ahead of him. She removes what would have killed him. She does not need credit. She doesn't need him to know. She needs him to survive. So when Ada is completely absent from Requiem, no line, no reference, nothing, the question isn't whether she's involved. She is always involved. The question is, what is she doing that is so significant she can't be anywhere near the official story? Now, if you haven't watched the Chris Redfield video, the one about the perfect BOW, go check that out. But in a nutshell, this is what you need to know. The BSAA's collapse was not an accident. Chris found out in RE8, soldiers deployed in active field operations were not human. They were BOWs wearing BSAA uniforms. The organization Chris built from nothing, the one Leon operated alongside for years, had been systematically compromised from inside. We are talking infiltration, a calculated long-term operation to hollow out the most credible anti-bioterrorism force on the planet. The network behind it was, of course, the Connections, a black market bioweapons organization. They backed Miranda's research. They funded the Megamycete project. And here's what the last video established. They reached into Wesker's biology and manufactured a continuation of his work without his knowledge and without his consent. A third party turned his DNA into a commercial product and deployed it into RE Requiem's timeline without Wesker making a single decision about his own legacy. Xeno is their product, not his. The Connections built the next nightmare, and the Connections is still fully operational inside Requiem's timeline. So now everything starts to come together a little bit. Ada Wong has been hunting this network, not just protecting Leon from the immediate threat in front of him, actively dismantling the organization that keeps generating the outbreaks he keeps getting assigned to clean up. The BSAA corruption, the Wesker cloning program, everything Leon walks to in Requiem. All of it traces back to the same source. One network, one pipeline. Ada has been pulling this thread for years. This is why she is absent from the official story. You can't be hunting a black market bioweapons organization from inside a sanctioned government operation. You run the shadow campaign. You stay completely off the record. You make sure the man with the wedding ring, the man who finally has someone waiting at home, actually makes it back to them. Because she decided a long time ago that it was going to end. And she was going to be the one to end it. But the sad thing is, nobody's going to know. Not officially anyway. Not even Leon. And that brings us to what Capcom has already confirmed without announcing. Nakanishi flagged 2 intentional details: the ring and Ada's total absence. Directors don't call out specific narrative choices as deliberate without a plan to resolve them. That is not how professional storytelling works. You don't put those words on the record and leave them sitting there unanswered. Separate Ways already proves Capcom knows exactly how to execute this format. RE4 Remake, same location, same timeline, Ada's entire campaign running parallel to Leon's. And when you played, you understood for the first time how many times Leon almost did not make it that he never knew about. The fan response was massive. The critical response was massive. Capcom knows what that structure does commercially and narratively. RE Requiem's DLC is Ada's campaign. Same facility, different entry point, different objective. She reached Raccoon City before Leon did, tracking the Connections pipeline, dismantling what she could, running interference on what she couldn't. The same operational plan she has run every single time across 28 years. This is not a new play. This is the only play she runs. But here's what makes this one different from every operation before it. Leon is going home to someone who isn't Ada. She knows that. She runs the operation anyway. She clears the path anyway. She makes sure he walks out of the ARC facility and puts the ring back on anyway. And when he does, when he goes home to his life, to whoever's waiting, Ada doesn't get a scene. She doesn't get acknowledged. She doesn't get the moment. She gets to know it worked. Leon doesn't know what she dismantled to get him there. He puts the ring back on and goes home. Ada disappears back into the dark. That's the confirmation. That's all she gets. Not everything she wanted, but enough. So here's where I'm at. Ada's absence from Requiem is not a writing gap. It's the most deliberate narrative choice in the game. She ran the operation Leon doesn't know exists. She hunted the connection so the nightmare that keeps calling him back finally has an ending. She made sure a man with a wedding ring got to use it, and she did all of it knowing she would never be a part of the story he tells when he gets home. The ring going back on is the only confirmation she gets. That is the tragedy Capcom hasn't shown you yet. Leon gets to go home because Ada decided he was worth the price. But I want to hear from you. Do you think Ada knew who Leon was going home to the whole time, or did she find out mid-operation? Because both versions change how deliberate that sacrifice actually was. Drop it below, and if you guys want more horror game coverage like this, then join the Dead Zone and hit that sub button. We are the Respawn Bros. Thank you for stopping by, and as always, keep dying, keep trying.